on the best of days, in the most innocent of places.
Till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
The one person you loved most suddenly disappeared. How long would you search?
He must have loved her very much.
I do admire his perseverance.
I pretend I have a choice. I have the power either to let her go on living wherever she is happy and never know anything about what happened to her, or she can be dead and I get to find out everything.
How far would you go?
I just want to know what happened to Diane, and I'm prepared to do anything to find out.
How much would you risk?
Hello, Jeff. I'm the man you're looking for. I'm Barney.
It's episode 62 of the 13 O'Clock podcast. And since it's October, and October we've been kind of doing, I mean, you know, maybe it hasn't been super obvious, but we have been doing kind of like a creepy kind of theme and shit like that.
Everything's a creepy thing, though.
Everything's a creepy thing, but, you know, I was just like, you know, I did it more deliberately this time, I guess. This was actually a topic that was suggested by more than one person, but I can't remember who, like, suggested it. But some people have requested that we do, like, a creepy disappearances kind of show. Like, not unsolved murders, but people that just vanished and they don't know where they are.
Yeah, unexplained disappearances.
Unexplained disappearances. So I wanted to do one in that vein. And, you know, so I kind of looked around for some ones that I thought were kind of creepy. I mean, obviously there's, like, a ton of other ones. I could probably just do a whole podcast just on that shit. But, I picked ones that I thought were kind of spooky. So we're going to talk about some of those. I got, like, 4 or 5 of them if we can... get to all of them. We'll see how long it takes.
Alrighty.
But before we do that, let's do our regular kind of shout-outs and housekeeping like we do at the beginning.
Okay.
My new book, The Faceless Villain, is out in print and ebook. So if you want to read that, then you can go to Amazon and order it. And if you like the book, please leave me a review. It really helps a lot.
Yes. Sales have been good on hardcover.
Yeah. I've already sold a bunch of copies of the hardcover, so thank you to everyone that bought a copy.
Or we call it hardcover. Actually, it's a paperback. But, you know, we meant hard copy, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah.
But we haven't gotten any reviews back on it yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's only been out
They probably have just received their books.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
It's only been up for maybe a little more than a week. And I'm still working on the audiobook. It's all recorded. I'm just doing the editing and everything like that. And like I said, once I'm done with the editing, I have to upload it, and then it goes through Audible's quality control system, which usually takes a minimum of 10 days. So it's probably going to be another couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before the audiobook is up, but I'm going to try and get it up as soon as possible. And like we said before, usually as soon as it goes live, then I get an email with 25 codes for free downloads of the book.
Yeah, we've already had requests. So we'll get, if you guys requested the copies, we'll get to you.
Yeah. So as soon as they come out. But like I said, it'll be another 2 or 3 weeks. It's like, you know, I'm having a lot of technical issues with
she recorded the book and then had to re-record it because of microphone problems and
I think I ended up recording it 3 times.
Right.
Like over the hours, which in a way was good because like when I was recording it the 3rd time, it seemed to go a lot easier because I almost have it memorized at this point because I've read it so many times.
Just moving the microphone or moving the chair from what that she reads from, even that is enough to screw up one recording session.
Yeah, and sometimes, like I said, you know, in the office, like if our kitten comes in and like kind of bumps into the microphone and like shifts it a little bit, and I don't realize. You know, and then I go to record the next day. I'm like, this sounds different. What the hell happened? You know what I mean? So it's really, you know what I had to do? I had to put the microphone in the closet.
Yeah, and get in the closet.
And I had to like sit in the little closet in my office with pillows and like coats and stuff like hanging. And, keep the closet door closed so the kitten.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll go in there to check on her to feed her because, she's in there working and I got to feed Jenny.
I know, I'm like a gremlin.
And I see her like in the closet. I said, "You still in the closet?"
Yes, I'm still in the closet.
Yeah,
I know. It was really sad, wasn't it? Because you kept coming in and going, "You still in the closet?" Oh, look at you!
It's funny.
On the floor of the closet. I didn't even have a fucking chair in there.
I know.
Anyway, it'll be up soon, and I'll let
and another thing is that we changed it up. some of the people that have reviewed the books, the audio books before, really were expecting to like the normal Jenny telling you a story type delivery. And normally what she would do, she'd get in there and she'd read it and she'd really worry about enunciation and make sure everything's clear and all. She's like, fuck it. I'm just gonna read this like I'm reading a book.
Yeah, and people might not notice so much difference because, like, when we're doing the podcast, like I said, yeah, I do an outline, but we don't script it. We don't really know what we're going to talk about exactly. So sometimes we just kind of, like, get on here and, like, bullshit, and we don't even know where the conversation's going to go. And I feel like maybe people like that. So, like, I figured the third time when I was recording the book, I was just like, you know, I'm not going to be, because here's the problem. When I read aloud, people have told me that I read too fast. Right. Because I read fast when I'm reading to myself, and so when I'm reading out loud, I'm going to read fast, and I kind of talk fast. And so when I was doing my other audiobooks, I tried to deliberately slow down so people wouldn't go, what the fuck, bitch? What
yeah.
You know what I mean? But this time I was like, you know what? Fuck it. As long as you can tell what I'm saying, then I'm just going to talk the way I would normally talk. Right. Obviously, I'm still reading it, but, you know.
Yeah, and our shows are not scripted. That's why in the very beginning of the show, we have to get, like, the housekeeping done.
Yeah.
All the little shout outs and everything that we have to do that first. Some of the older videos that we have on there, you know, some people that are not normal subscribers will jump in. Damn, get to the point. I almost clicked off, you know. But you know what? If you're that ADD, fuck out. You fuck out. We don't need you. This is long form.
Well, that's what I figured.
This is a long form show.
Sit through 5 minutes of people talking.
Yeah, then just get the fuck out.
Yeah, fuck off. It's like you obviously have bigger problems.
Right. This is a long form show. We conceived this show to be an hour long.
Yeah.
For people that were like maybe driving to work, or maybe they're jogging, or they're laying down in bed at night trying to go to sleep. Because that's what I do. I'll put a show on.
Yeah.
You know.
A lot of people do that.
And if it's not at least an hour, I won't listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, under those circumstances.
Well, you know, you gotta have some substantial entertainment.
The show is not data. The show is a show.
Yeah.
It's like any other radio show.
And like I said, you know, I wanted to comment on this. I think somebody commented on, I think it was our Ed and Lorraine Warren show, maybe. Yeah. And I'm not sure if I couldn't tell if they were being sarcastic, but they were like, well, I almost clicked this off too much talking.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
So I commented, it's like, well, next time we'll try to impart the information to you via telepathy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If you'd like that better. Yeah, it'll just be an hour of silence with us just sending some thought waves to you.
On our real popular shows that kind of went viral, you know, that have 7,000 views. I mean, we have people that are not regular listeners, and you should see the fucking incredible shit we got to put up with. I mean, it's YouTube. The YouTube comment section is kind of like purgatory or hell. It's like you're hearing like demons from hell.
Although I have to say
stupid shit.
That really, I mean, considering the subject matter that we do and stuff like that, we really don't get that many stupid comments. Not that many.
Do you know what got a lot of stupid comments? The skull experiment. Yeah, people that really wanted the skull experiences to be true got in there and talked about what idiots we were, and that that we're afraid that seances are real.
Yeah, okay.
Man, I went through a fucking poltergeist episode, all right? I'm not afraid of I'm not afraid of a seance, okay? All right? I've been through a poltergeist. That shit's terrifying when it's fucking rolling.
That's what I mean. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of a seance. I'm not afraid of somebody...
Poltergeist when you're 13 is fucking terrifying.
Out of their snatch. I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah, when you're 13 and you're seeing adults lose their shit. You know what I'm talking about? Over what's happening. Yeah, it's that shit fucking, changes... It shakes your foundation.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so let's see. What else?
What else do we have to do?
Oh, I just put up... Yeah, that's all right. It's all right. Whatever.
It's a show.
I just put up a movie review for Videodrome, so check that out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you haven't checked that out yet.
That's good.
Really, I love that movie so much.
We did a good show. I think it's a good show.
Yeah, we had a good time talking about that movie because I love David Cronenberg. And also, I want to give a shout out to our newest Patreon patron, Kieran. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kieran.
Thank you very much again to Dean.
Dean, you're like a heavy lifter, man.
You're so rad, man.
You're the Lou Ferrigno. No. You're the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Lou Ferrigno.
Of patrons.
That was random.
He's just like, here's $25, here's 20-something bucks, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So he gave that on PayPal. And if you would like to do the same, then go to patreon.com/13o'clockpodcast. Give us a small monthly donation. Or you can go to the blog, which is 13o'clockpodcast.wordpress.com. And there's a little PayPal link in the sidebar. And you can give a one-time PayPal donation.
Yeah, and I think that's in the
if you're into that.
that's in the little description box too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I always put links and shit down at the bottom of my super long descriptions because you know how I do. And also, this coming weekend is Spooky Empire.
Yeah.
So if you're in the Orlando area and want to go, where is it at? What did I say it was at? The Hyatt Regency? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's on International Drive. You know.
Right.
You know how the internet works. You can find out where it is.
Yeah, at first I thought they were talking about OBT, Orange Blossom Trail.
Yeah, he said last night, isn't that where all the hookers are? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's Orange Blossom Trail.
Yeah, I wanted to see the hookers, man. We
You don't want to
to
see the hookers on OBT.
No.
These are not the top tier hookers.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, these are the low rent
Street
hookers.
walking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to
half that ass hanging out of the bottom. And it's not the half you want to see. You don't want to see either half. You don't want to see either half.
Well, I used to work at a place off of OBT, so I used to drive on OBT every morning, and there are still hookers walking around at like 7:38 in the morning. I guess getting the guys that are like, oh, we're gonna have a quick blowjob on the way to the job.
Hooker got a hook.
I guess
it's
so.
illegal in Florida, of course, but they just can't keep up with it. They got to catch them.
Well, that's what
and
I
I don't
mean.
think they care.
No, I don't think so. It's not illegal to like walk up and down the street.
Yeah.
Even if you look like a.
Yeah. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
That's all right. And also, next week's episode is our Halloween episode, so you're kind of running out of time.
Yeah.
If you want to send some Halloween stories, I've got a shit ton, so I might have enough for an episode. I'm not really sure, depending on how fast I read them. But if you want to send one, then please get it to me very quickly, because we're actually I'm going to try and do the Halloween episode ahead of time, because usually we do these shows, we record them over the weekend, but next weekend we're going to be at Spooky Empire all weekend, so we're not going to have time.
Yeah.
So
we got to get some video footage of that.
Yeah.
We'll put that up on the show.
Yeah, we definitely should. And so I'm definitely going to try and put together the Halloween episode sometime before Friday.
Yeah.
So if you have a story, then please get it to me as quickly as possible. You can email it to me at gravecake@gmail.com, or you can message me on the 13 O'Clock Facebook page.
Maybe what we ought to do is we ought to video records a lot of that goes on, and then we'll compile it into a show.
Yeah, we could do that.
And we'll put up a video show.
Yeah, if we get some good footage, we can do that.
We can just edit, any boring spots out.
Yeah.
See what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of these guys on here want to see those girls.
Probably.
Yeah, the costumes were pretty good last time.
Yeah, what my favorite costume was last year? Somebody dressed up like the chick from Mars Attacks.
Oh yeah, that was our friend.
Yeah. What's her name? What's her name?
Alex? No.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah,
we saw her there.
Time,
the chick from Mars Attacks with like the huge beehive and that red and white dress with the curly thing.
And we haven't seen her around in a long time. Her and her husband.
Yeah, I know.
What was her name again?
I can't remember.
Shit. Okay.
I'm getting as bad with names as you are.
I know.
All right. So I think that's all the housekeeping we had for this episode. So let's get to some creepy disappearances. Now, like I said, there are so many I could pick from, but I kind of picked ones that I thought were creepier, that had like some kind of creepy details. And the first one I want to talk about is actually, this is a pretty well-known case, the case of Tara Calico.
The what?
Tara Calico, that's her name.
Okay.
Now this happened.
That's a hooker name.
She's
Tara
not a hooker.
Calico?
That's not cool. She probably got murdered.
Okay. All right, that's it.
But yeah,
that's like an old West hooker name. That's what I was saying. That's doesn't that sound like?
It is kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
That sounds like a character like in a Quentin Tarantino
exactly.
movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. But anyway, okay, so it's September 1988, and Tara lives in New Mexico. And what she usually does, she usually rides her bike along State Road 47. Now, for a while, her mom had been riding with her. Okay. But her mom kind of stopped riding with her because she's like, well, I kind of feel like there's been, like, a car, like, following us or, following her. And so she kept trying to get Tara to, like, take mace and stuff like that. And Tara's like, man, whatever, chill out. It's fine. Now, on this particular day, which was September 20th, she went out to ride her bike, and she specifically told her mom, she's like, now, if I'm not back by noon, then come and find me, because she knew the route that she took.
Now, how old is this girl we're talking about?
She's 18, I think.
Okay.
Or somewhere around there. So she says, if I'm not back by noon, then come along the route and find me, because, I'm supposed to go play tennis with my boyfriend at 12:30. Well, noon comes and goes, and Tara does not return. So her mom, whose name is Patty, goes and drives along the route, and they don't find her. Now, she calls the police and reports Tara missing. All that the police find along the route is they find Tara's Walkman and a broken cassette tape.
They don't find
lying on the side of the road.
They don't find the bicycle.
They don't find a bicycle. They don't find her. Nothing.
Damn.
Now, some people had seen her riding her bike that day, like they saw her every day. No one saw anyone take her, although a few people said that they did see a light-colored pickup truck with like a camper shell on it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That was that might have been following her, or that was like along that same road.
I mean, you have to have a place to throw that bicycle.
Yeah, because they never did find that.
Yeah, so I was thinking van, or maybe pickup truck, but camper on the back.
It was it was an older pickup truck. It was like a 1950s style pickup truck, maybe a Ford. They said. Now, no one hears a damn thing. All they found was a Walkman and the tape. That's it. No one hears a damn thing for almost a year. Then, in June 1989, there's a convenience store in Port St. Joe, Florida, which, if you know your geography, is very, very far from New Mexico. There's a woman, and she's coming out of a convenience store, and she sees a Polaroid picture laying in an empty parking space. This Polaroid picture shows a young woman and a little boy.
Oh, I know the photo.
Yeah. Tied up and gagged.
Yeah.
Now, this woman that found this photo, she said that she thought that there had been the classic white windowless van parked in that space where the photo was found. She said she kind of saw the guy that was driving it. She just said he looked like he was in his 30s. He had a mustache. That was about it. Now, she gave the description of the car and everything like that, and the police looked for the guy, but they didn't find anybody. Now, they said that the picture must have been taken after May 1989. It was found in June 1989 because Polaroid said that type of film wasn't available before that time.
Right.
Now, this photo was put on the show A Current Affair. You remember that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, in like a month later. And some people that saw it said that the girl looked like Tara Calico. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing, too, is that in the photo, you can see there's like a paperback book next to her. Yeah. And it's the book My Sweet Audrina by V.C. Andrews.
Right.
Which was
those Flowers in the Attic
Flowers in the Attic type. Yeah, that series. And they said that was Tara's favorite book.
That particular one, or Flowers in the Attic was her favorite book?
I don't know. They just said that was one of her favorite books.
All right.
So they show the picture to Tara's parents and her relatives and stuff like that. They think it's her, but they're not entirely certain. Now, the little boy that's in the picture, there was a boy that went missing, also from New Mexico, in April of 1988, named Michael Henley. Now, Michael Henley's parents saw the picture on Current Affair, and they thought that was their kid. But the weird thing about that is that later on, in 1990, they actually found Michael Henley's body, but it was like out in the Zuni Mountains.
Right.
And it was 7 miles from where his family had been camping when he disappeared.
Right.
So they actually don't think that Michael Henley was murdered, but that he just kind of wandered off from the campsite and just died of exposure or got lost or whatever. Now, they're not certain.
They've never identified that kid, though.
No. I mean, they found Michael Henley.
Right, so it
but
wasn't
they
him.
don't know who that kid in the picture was.
Yeah, I bet you that wasn't the kid in the picture.
Yeah, it was probably not. Even though the mom said it was. But, it's hard. You want that to be your kid. You want your kid to be alive. So, I can understand how that kind of
and they're not really sure that girl was Calico.
Yeah, they're not certain about that either.
I bet you that was a staged photograph.
It might have
staged as
been.
a joke. They're playing around in the house, and you know what I mean, and they tie each other up. Somebody takes a picture.
It could be.
Think about it. If you had killed those people and you took a picture of it, you wouldn't lose that photo. You wouldn't even carry that thing around.
Why would it be in the van?
Right.
That just seems like a weird thing to carry around in the car with you.
And then a very weird thing to lose.
Yeah.
A serial killer wouldn't do that, I don't think.
Unless they were like toying with the family or something and left it there on purpose. Which
no,
that's what I mean.
I would think that there'd be a big chance that the photo on the ground would go unnoticed.
Yeah.
That's what the serial killer would think. So he would probably be more apt to send it to authorities.
Because that kind of shit does happen. And and it so happens, 20 years later, after the Polaroid picture was found, the police officers in Port St. Joe, where the original Polaroid had been found, they got letters in the mail. And in this letter, there was a printed picture of another little boy, and he had like a black rectangle like drawn over his mouth in marker. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were saying it was tape.
Right.
I don't think they ever figured out who that kid was either.
Right.
So
People messing around. That's
Right.
what I think it was.
And it says, like, according to the Wikipedia page, these letters, they were received at the same time that this psychic had contacted police, and she said, oh, I used to work with Tara Calico in California in a strip club,
What?
and she got murdered.
Okay.
And then this psychic says she's buried somewhere in California and told the police where it was, but they dug there and there was nothing there.
Right.
Now, apparently, there were 2 other Polaroids that have kind of surfaced over the ensuing years that could both be Tara Calico, but they're very blurry. They don't really know. And like I said, even the original photograph, like Scotland Yard said, they did a photo analysis and they said, yeah, that's Tara. But then the Los Alamos lab did one and said, no, it's probably not her. The FBI's test was like inconclusive. They couldn't tell if it was her. And like when you look at the photo and look at other, because there are a lot of other like, you know, school photos of her and stuff like that, you can't really tell if that's the same girl or not.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of so weird because nothing ever came of it. It's like all these pictures turned up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No one knows who they are. No one knows why they were left there. No one knows any of that shit.
Yeah.
No arrest, no nothing.
I kind of think that what happened was Miss Calico just got abducted off the roadside and killed. I bet you all those other photos are unrelated.
They might be.
Yeah.
And I mean, because it seems strange that it happened in, you know, that the photo was found in Florida. I mean, she disappeared from New Mexico. Now, some cops.
I think that photo that was found out there in Florida, I've seen that photo.
Yeah, it's a very famous photo.
Yeah, and it, you know, those kids don't look stressed out at all. They look well fed. They don't even look scared.
Yeah.
I think it might have been, you know, 3 brothers and sisters or
maybe they were just farting.
Cousins and playing around with a camera. One of them took the other one.
We're playing kidnapper.
Yeah, I think it might have been something like that.
You know, it's not that.
Now, I don't know why. I mean, that photo became nationally famous. I don't know why, you know, the people didn't come forward saying, "Oh yeah, that's us."
Unless they thought
maybe
they
that was
were
just
gonna
part of
get
the
in trouble.
gag. Yeah, or they thought they were going to get in trouble.
Or maybe, like I said, it was just somebody.
Maybe they forgot they took that photo. They grew up a little, you know, and...
Yeah, and it was just in there and somebody kicked it out of the car when they were going to get sodas or something like that. There actually was a theory going around that this truck that was following her were people that she knew, like from school, and that they accidentally hit her on her bike, but then tried to cover up the crime by like throwing her in the truck.
That's
so
unlikely.
some people have said that too, that maybe it was just an accident.
There have been some weird photos in relation to serial killers. There was this one serial killer, I forgot what his name was, but he used this teenage boy to go out and capture these other teenage boys, and he'd tie him up to a board, one on either side, and kill him over a period of time. Well, they found a photograph in his possession of a little kid. You know, he's maybe 6 or 7, maybe a little bit younger. And he's tied to that board, that torture board that he used. Yeah. And next to him a bunch of tools. And well, they never have identified that kid, nor have they found his body. And they found all the rest of the bodies. And evidently, you know, the kid must have been from the area, and there wasn't any missing kids from the area. So, you know, they don't know.
Shit like that, like, freaks me out.
Yeah, like, who was that kid?
Yeah.
And what happened to him? Could it be that was just some kid that he found and just took that picture and that's it, let him go because he thought it was too risky to kill him?
Yeah.
Or you don't know. Yeah. They never found the kid. He wasn't buried with all the other ones. Strange.
Yeah, that is very weird.
Yeah.
But, you know, who knows what they...
and people that were...
logic doesn't apply.
And people that were missing their kids couldn't ID him.
Yeah.
They said, no, that's not our kid.
That's not our kid, yeah.
So who were the parents?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, there have been a couple cases like that where kids were like, you know, like Little Lord Fauntleroy, which is in my new book, and it's like they fished this kid out of a quarry or something, and he had like nice fancy clothes on and all this other stuff. Nobody ever identified him.
Well, if he's never identified, never reported missing, it's always the parents.
Then probably the parents.
It's always the parents.
Yeah. But yeah, so they kind of reconvened a task force in 2013 to kind of reopen the Tara Calico case, but so far, nothing. They have no idea what happened to her. Nothing, no body ever found or anything like that. Now, the next case I want to talk about, this one is actually pretty weird. There's not a huge amount of information about it online, but it's just kind of weird in the details that were left over. Now, this is the case of Coroner Malinovski and Annette Sagres. Coroner Malinovski, she was about 26 years old, I think. And she lived in the caretaker's house at Mount Holly Plantation in South Carolina, because her husband was the caretaker of this plantation. Now, her and her husband, they had 3 kids. She had a daughter named Annette Sagres, And then her and the new husband, whose name was Stephen, they had 2 sons together. Now, her and Stephen had a fight one evening, like an argument. And it was a couple days before Thanksgiving. This was 1987. And apparently between 11 and 11:30 p.m., she went for a drive to calm down. And she never came back. Now, the next day, she worked at a convenience store. And her boss didn't know where she was and went to see what happened to her. He found her car parked in front of the Mount Holly plantation. It was all locked, everything like nothing otherwise unusual. But Corina was gone. And they never found out what happened to her. Now, the weirdest thing is that almost a year later, in October of 1988, Corina's daughter, Annette, she went out to wait for her school bus in the morning. 7 a.m., she had her little dog was sitting next to her. Multiple witnesses are standing there waiting for the bus. The bus comes at 7:20 and she's gone. All that's left is a note. There's like a little note that's written in pencil. And the note says, "Dad, Mama came back. Give the boys a hug." And the it looked like it was written, like handwriting analysts said that it looked like it was written by Annette Sagres, which was a little girl. So the dad, because he didn't know that the girl was missing until later that afternoon, because he thought she was at school. So he came home and he's like, "Where's the kid?" So then he went to the bus stop and he found the note. Now, they don't know. They think that she did write the note, but they don't know if someone made her.
I think so. I think somebody fooled her with a
like
ruse.
Under duress. That's kind of what I'm feeling like too, because now, and I read something about this on Reddit where like a bunch of people were talking about this case, and somebody made an excellent point. They said, a little girl, she was like, how old was she? Like 8, 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah.
11. She was 11.
Yeah.
It's like, would she write, "Give the boys a hug"? Wouldn't she say, "My brothers"? Why would she refer to the boys? That sounds like an adult talking about, you know what I mean? Maybe not, but that does sound kind of plausible.
Sounds like it was dictated to her. Or somebody told her to write that.
I think somebody told her to write that. Because obviously someone must have picked her up in a car because she was gone in like 20 minutes. Because she was standing there and then the bus came 20 minutes later and she was gone.
Yeah, somebody said that, hey, I found your mom. That type of deal.
That's kind of what I feel like too.
Right.
Because some people said, "Oh, maybe her mom came back for her," but I'm like, yeah, but why didn't she come back for her other 2 kids?
She goes, "Well, I can't leave, and they said, "Well, here, just write a note. Write this," and That's
kind of what I feel like happened. I feel like it was some creep that lived locally and knew that her mom was gone because it was a pretty famous case at the time in South Carolina.
So he smelled the weakness.
So he just went by and said, "Oh, hey, I know where your mom is. Just leave a note for your dad. It'll be fine. I'll take you to your mom." And then who knows?
Might have been the guy who might have killed her.
Yeah. Might
have been the same guy that killed the mom.
Yeah, might have been.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of thought, like, when you originally hear about it, you kind of think, oh, maybe it was the husband, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem like
friend of the family, maybe. Friend of the family
it might have been.
Killed the mom and the daughter.
Yeah, it might have been. But the strange thing is that after Annette disappeared, Stephen, the dad, he went and married someone else and had more kids and stuff like that. But the kids that he had with Corina Malinovski, he like gave them up.
Okay.
Like they were fostered out like to a foster home and then they were adopted. Like he gave up his parental rights to them, which I thought was very odd. So
maybe he had some kind of mental breakdown and couldn't take care of them for a while.
Maybe that's what it was. Like maybe he couldn't stand to look at them or anymore. I don't know what the deal was with that, but I thought that was a really weird.
Maybe what year was this again?
Corina disappeared in 87 and Annette disappeared in 88.
Maybe he didn't have a really good marriage with his first wife anyway. And he was like, screw these kids.
I'm starting over.
I'm starting over. Erase this out. Yeah, they got some
They
got some cold dudes.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like that.
Yeah, I don't want to blame him. I mean, there's no evidence that he killed the wife.
Not that I ever saw.
I don't think
most people think it was some kind of random.
I think it was a random thing, and his reaction was, "Well, I'm starting over."
Yeah, well, so much for that.
Yeah, so much of these kids.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
Or maybe he'd lost his mind. You know what I mean that couldn't take care of them.
Yeah.
Maybe he figured they needed a mother, and he wasn't a motherly type.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing about a lot of these kind of like missing persons cases. It's like there's really nowhere to end them because they never found them. They have no idea what happened to them.
Just
and
weird
it's like
stuff that happens.
Just weird stuff that happens, and it's like a mystery.
We're actually at the halfway point.
Yeah, we're at the halfway point, and we're going to take a break right now. And I have actually like 3 more cases I want to talk about if I have time. We'll see if we do.
Well, we can make time.
Yeah, we can make time or whatever. And so we're going to take a short break right now. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We're back talking about creepy disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's another one that happened. This actually happened in Florida. Again, fucking Florida.
Yeah. Does it involve a man?
No.
So it's not a Florida man?
No, it's not Florida man.
Okay.
This is Florida woman.
All right.
This is the case of Diane Audit. Now, she was actually 40 years old.
Over the hill.
You're terrible. The last time she was seen was on April 10th, 1998. She was walking around outside of her house about 11 in the morning. Later that day, she was seen walking along US 19, and that was the last time anybody ever saw her. 2 days later, her mother got a message on her answering machine that was from Diane. All the message said was, "Help, help, let me out," and "Hey, gimme that."
I remember that.
As though someone was trying to take the phone away from her.
I remember
like,
that.
It was like sounded like a struggle.
Yeah.
So, okay, the caller ID on the phone call, all it said on it was Starlight. They called the number back and obviously nobody answered. And the weird thing about this is that you'd think that they would have done more investigation, like what is Starlight? It sounds like a bowling alley or something like that. But evidently they never turned up anything. Like even if they did like go investigate this Starlight place or whatever it was. But that's the word that came up on the caller ID. So they don't know, like, okay, so a couple days after the phone call, they were kind of searching around the side of US 19 and looking for more clues and something like that. And they found a finger. Yeah. Which later was revealed to belong to Diane Audit. Yeah. Now, I don't know if it was the whole finger or just the fingertip. I think it was just like the tip of the pinky finger or something like that. So yeah, they found that. Now, the thing about Diane is that she had been okay up until the late 80s when she started having mental problems. She had manic depression and she had to start taking medication. She had 2 children, but they were taken away and her husband divorced her. And she had some problems with alcoholism and things of that nature. Now, she had been Baker acted many times, so they don't know if someone like took advantage of someone, you know, in a vulnerable situation in that kind of way. But the weird thing is that she actually, like, people did see her. Like, she was seen in a restaurant around April 10th, which is about the day she went missing. Somebody said they saw her in a restaurant. Somebody saw her the next day in another restaurant eating lunch. Evidently she was alone. I don't know. And then that was the day before they found her finger. Then this creeps me out. 2 weeks after she went missing, somebody found, like, inside one of those like ice machine freezer things,
Yeah, I
like in the
remember
front of
this,
a convenience store in Odessa, Florida.
Yeah.
They found a plastic bag with a bunch of her clothes in it.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Now, nothing happened until 2000. And then the St. Petersburg Times ran a story, like kind of an update on it. And then the day after that, at the same convenience store in Odessa, there was another plastic bag, and someone had written Diane on it.
Mm-hmm.
And inside it was a stick of eyeliner and a thing of pink lipstick, a thing of toothpaste, and a little bottle of Taboo perfume. They don't know if that stuff was hers or if somebody just put it there like as some kind of weird, sick joke or something like that. The weird thing about it, though, is that, and every single source I read about it says this, it says this bag that was in this convenience store was found by Diane's brother's girlfriend.
Weird.
Like, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Like, was it put there specifically for her to find it? Did they know she was going to be there? Like, what the fuck? Did she put it there? I don't know. And it's like, nobody goes more into that. And I'm like, I'm kind of curious about why it was somebody that was related to her that found it in that convenience store. But isn't that fucking creepy? Did you find a fucking figure?
Sounds like a conspiracy.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's like so spooky.
Yeah.
You know, so the mom thinks maybe, I mean, because Diane was manic depressed or had bipolar disorder or whatever, like maybe someone took advantage of her and something like that. She was also seen at the Coral Sands Motel, and it so happened that the guy that managed this motel, who was named Gary Evers, was later charged with a murder. Not of her, but he actually shot a man after an argument.
Yeah, that's
and
probably
he was convicted. So they don't know if
that's not a sex crime.
Yeah, it's not kind of the same MO. Yeah. So they don't know if he had anything to do with her disappearance. Yeah. All they're saying is somebody said that they saw her at that hotel like shortly after.
It could be something real simple. Maybe she just had a psychotic break. She just became homeless. And she just wandered around.
She didn't take her medication with her.
And she just wandering around, you know, with bags of clothing, and maybe she put them in the ice box for safekeeping, you know, because she's nuts.
Yeah, it could be that.
She's just homeless vagrant, you know.
Although someone could. That
might have happened by accident. You know, maybe she did that to herself. You don't know.
Could be.
And maybe they were just, you know, it was bum on bum violence, like I said the last time. Fighting over the telephone
on the Cleveland Torso.
Yeah, bum on bum violence.
We say bum on bum violence. That's terrible. But yeah, so. We don't know.
Remember that video fed called Bum Fights, where a guy would go
that's right.
Guy would pay two bums to fight each other, and he'd record it on video, and then he would put it up on YouTube. And they told him to stop doing it, even though the bums wanted to do it. They were making good money. Bum fighting. One bum would throw threw the other bum into a shopping cart and pushed him down like 4 flights of stairs. Fuck that bum up.
That's a good TV. That kind of
safety, nothing.
That kind of relates back to what we were talking about on our video drum review.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that Max Wren would put on his channel.
Evidently it's very popular.
Yeah. All right, so the next case I want to talk about, and this one is actually, for some reason, this one is actually super popular, and there's like a ton of like fucking conspiracy theories about it. And this one is, the girl's name is Maura Murray. And this happened in Massachusetts in 2003, 2004. Now, Maura Murray was a college student at Amherst. She was studying nursing. And evidently, she kind of had a little bit of a minor criminal past. Stolen credit cards. She'd order food with stolen credit cards and stuff like that. You know, nothing major. But so, okay, the weirdness started in February of 2004. She has a job on campus, like, as a security guard, like, to help pay for her classes, right? Now, she's at her job one night, and she's talking to her sister, Kathleen, about, you know, Kathleen's relationship problems and all this other stuff. Around 10:30 p.m., she's sitting at her little security desk, and she starts, like, having a crying fit. Like, she just has, like, a nervous breakdown type of thing or whatever. Now, her supervisor comes to the desk and says that she's just sitting there with an open book in front of her, just staring off into space, and that she won't answer any of his questions or anything like that. Now, he asks what's wrong with her, and all she'll say is, my sister. That's all she'll say. She doesn't say anything about what they were talking about on the phone or nothing like that. So they thought that was a little weird, but whatever. So he takes her back to her dorm room. Everything's fine. Now, a couple days later, her father comes to visit her. And they go out looking at cars. They go to dinner. They do whatever. Now, after they get back, the father's staying at a hotel because he's from somewhere else. And Maura borrows his car to go to a party. Now, on the way home from the party, she hits a guardrail and does $10,000 in damage to her dad's car.
Damn.
So the cops take her back to the hotel. Now, weirdly, there is an accident report, but it doesn't appear that they did field sobriety test on her. Right. Although I'm assuming she was drunk because she was coming home from a party and,
wrecking cars.
So now
$10,000 worth of damage on the car. What car was this? Must have been a Lexus or something.
It was a Corolla. It was a Toyota Corolla.
Damn, I didn't realize that they cost that much.
Well,
I had one of those in '85.
She must have hit it really hard.
Yeah, I had a Corolla in 1985.
Well, this is 2004, so Toyota Corollas were more expensive in 2004.
Yeah, I guess
but it sounds like she pretty much totaled the shit. Right. But so the next day, I guess the dad, well, I'm sure the dad was mad, but whatever. But he was like, well, the insurance company will cover it or whatever. He picks up a rental car and he drops Maura off back at the campus. Apparently, there was a phone call from the dad's phone to Maura's boyfriend. And it was only a couple of minutes, but nobody knows if the dad called or if she used his phone or whatever. So Maura goes back to school and her dad goes back to doing his dad stuff. And he tells her, okay, we'll go and pick up the accident claim forms from the Registry of Motor Vehicles and we'll sort all this shit out, right? And then there was some other shit, like they know that she had used her computer to search for directions to Burlington, Vermont, to various places in Vermont. So they think she was going someplace, but they don't know why, and they don't know why she didn't tell anyone. So she evidently had texted her boyfriend and said, I got your messages, I just didn't want to talk to anyone, I'll call you tomorrow, or something like that. So apparently she packs up her car, and then she takes off. She takes $280 out of an ATM. Now, I don't know if that was all the money in her account, because one source said it was all the money in her account. The other one didn't specify. It just said she took out $280. And she was alone. They have footage of her at the ATM. They also have footage of her at a liquor store buying $40 worth of booze, including a box of Franzia wine, some vodka, some Kahlua, some various other things. Now, she did pick up the accident report forms. So she did do what her dad said. So evidently she was planning
on coming back.
On coming back, because she did have those. So evidently she got on Interstate 91 and started heading north. Now they said that she called on her cell phone. She called to check her voicemail at 4:37 in the afternoon, but that was the last time her cell phone was ever used. A few hours later, in New Hampshire, this woman hears a thump outside her window. And she goes to look out, and she sees that a car has hit a snowbank, and it's all fucked up. And she sees a girl walking around the car. She calls the cops. Now, another person who was a school bus driver, he drove by the accident, and he stopped to help. And he asks her, were you okay? Do you need help or something like that? And she's like, please don't call the cops. I already called AAA. Now, this guy said there's no cell phone reception out here, so I knew that she didn't call AAA, and AAA has no record of her calling regardless. So he heads back to his house and calls the police. Now, police get there only a few minutes after the call. They get there at 7:46, and she's gone. All they find, now all her shit was still in the car, like her debit card, credit card, her cell phone was gone. She took those with her, but significantly, her cell phone, debit card, credit cards were never used after that, because they can track if they're used. They never were after that. All they found in the car. Now the car was it wouldn't run, like the when she hit the snowbank, the radiator went into the fan and it was all fucked up. Yeah. So the windshield was cracked. Both airbags had deployed. The car was locked. Inside and outside the car, there were red stains, which was actually red wine from the box, because the box was all fucked up in the back seat. They also found a AAA card. They found the blank accident report forms and various other things, makeup, jewelry, a couple sets of driving directions to a couple different cities in Vermont, and a few other things like her favorite stuffed animal, a book about mountain climbing, shit like that. The last, what they think is the last sighting of her happened between 8 and 8:30. There was a guy driving along Route 112, and he saw what looked like a young woman walking really quickly on foot. Now, this was 4 to 5 miles from where the accident was. Said she was wearing like a dark coat, she had a black backpack, and a light hood. And they think that was the last time anyone saw her. So another weird thing that I forgot to mention, that in the tailpipe of her car, like the muffler tailpipe of her Saturn, there was a rag stuck in there.
The old rag in a tailpipe trick.
Yeah.
That's almost like the old banana in a tailpipe trick.
Yeah. Or the potato in the...
Yeah.
So after that, she was considered a missing person. The weird thing is that, okay, so they went back to her dorm room on campus. And she had packed up her dorm room. Like, she had taken the art off the walls. She had, like, shit in boxes and stuff like that. And there was a printed out email, like, on top of some of the boxes that was either to her boyfriend or from her boyfriend that indicated that they were having problems in their relationship. They're not sure if she was, like, deliberately taking off or if she went somewhere to commit suicide or something like that. Like, her family thinks that's unlikely.
Right.
And it does sound a bit unlikely, because why would she have picked up the accident forms and all that other shit if she was just going to take off? It just seemed really weird, you know, and the fact that all she bought, and like I said, I guess it would make more sense if the $280 that she took out of the account, if that was like all her money.
Right.
I don't know if it was or not. Like, one source I saw said it was all her money, but the other one didn't really specify.
That's a weird story.
The only other weird thing was that her boyfriend was flying to Amherst to, like, help out in the investigation or whatever. And, you know, they make you turn your cell phone off while you're in flight. But when he landed, he had a voicemail, and all it was, he said it sounded like her crying. And that's all it was. And it was only, like, less than a minute long. And the weird thing is that the call was traced to a calling card that had been issued to the American Red Cross. Yeah, so what the fuck happened to this woman?
I don't know.
Like, this is just, like, it's such a bizarre... And the weird thing is, for some reason, this case in particular really seems to have, like, captured the internet's imagination, because there's fuck tons of crazy conspiracy theories about what happened to her. You know, none of them as dumb as, like, you know, alien abduction, but some of them are saying, like here's this one guy, okay, in 2012, and this was about 7 years after the disappearance, someone going by the name 112 Dirtbag, which Route 112 was what she disappeared from, and Dirtbag, like, her dad had said in the media, I think she got kidnapped by a bunch of dirtbags, quote unquote. Okay. So someone going by 112 Dirtbag put up a video of just himself looking very creepy, like, laughing and shit like that. And then a guy that wrote a book about the case, he was, like, super into it. He evidently got an email, and the subject line said, "Stop looking." And then in the body of the email, it was just coordinates. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just creepy shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure...
That's trolling.
That's what I mean. I think that's probably all trolling. And some people have said, oh, you know, she had a tandem driver, because what they had bloodhounds come to the scene and, like, track to see if they could find out where she went. Yeah. Now, the bloodhound followed a trail, but the trail stopped in the middle of the road.
She got into a car.
Which led them to believe that she had gotten into a car. Right. So whether she was hitchhiking or whether she had set it up with someone else ahead of time to, like...
Maybe somebody was following her.
That's what some people said. Some people thought she had, like, a tandem driver that was ahead of her or behind her.
They were in a convoy.
And then picked her up.
That's why she didn't want any help from AAA or the cops.
Yeah, and then took her somewhere else. Some people said they took her to Canada.
There was another boyfriend, maybe.
Maybe that's what it was. It could have been. You know, there's a million things it could have been.
But then, you know, how does another boyfriend explain how she died?
Right.
Unless he just met her and she just met him and he was a psycho.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been that. It could have been that she just, like, was drunk and she wandered off and froze to death. Who knows? You know,
and then the animals got her.
And the animals got her. Who knows? So it's like, it's just this really, really weird case, and nobody is really sure what the fuck happened to her, and she's still gone all these years later. So yeah, look up the Maura Murray case. It's very fascinating, and there's a lot of, like I said, crazy conspiracy theories about it that I didn't even mention because they were too stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the last case I wanted to talk about, and I guess I will have time to cover all these. This is good.
You know what's funny is that
What's
it
that?
just came into my mind. Some people think that well, if a person dies, that you find the body. You don't always find the body.
Well, not always.
No.
It's a big country.
Big country, and there's animals. One time at the barn, we had a turkey that died. So I pulled it out of the dead chicken coop where it was living. It was living in there with the chickens. The roosters nearly whipped my ass over trying to pull that dead turkey out.
The dead turkey out. We were going to use
This
that.
is a huge turkey. It's half the size of a human being, It was heavy. So I threw it in the back of the four-wheeler and chucked it out back one of the little country roads at the farm that was there. Is that Dr. Matt's house?
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'll come back and get it. Well, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
The next day, though, I said, well, as I was feeding the horses, I said,
dead turkey.
Yeah, I said, I forgot about that dead turkey. All right. So this is the first thing in the morning. So I go over there where I left that dead turkey, and there was a trace of that dead turkey. Gone. Some feathers.
Yeah.
That was it. And I even rode around the perimeter, was looking into the wood line. There'd be no way to find that turkey. No, they ripped it up.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what got it. Bobcats could have gotten it. Yeah. Possums, bears, raccoons.
There's all kinds of shit
and a combination of all of them, too,
Well, yeah, they all wanted a piece.
They all take some of it.
It was Thanksgiving for everybody in the wilderness.
It just gets passed down the food chain.
Yeah.
And even the bones, a lot of those bones I think are eaten.
Probably. Yeah. Well, there's marrow in there. That's
marrow,
good shit.
They crunch them up. And a human isn't
especially bird bones. I mean,
and a human isn't that big.
No, not comparatively.
Not comparatively, yeah. The animals will eat that.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, some people, if you disappear in the woods or in the, they'll never find your ass, never.
Especially if you're not buried.
Yeah.
They'll find some serial killer kills because they bury them. Yeah. Animals can't get to them.
Right.
So they find the skeleton. It's almost better to leave it out. If you don't want to find it. But they'll find the skull eventually. Yeah. They'll find the skull eventually.
Yeah.
They won't eat a skull usually.
But yeah, so this last case, this actually happened in 2000. And this was actually a dude. His name was Zebb Quinn. And he worked at Walmart. He worked in the electronics department. Now, with him working at Walmart was his friend named Robert Owens. They both worked there. They played pool. They did that kind of shit. Now, evidently, this was early January 2000. Now, Zebb had been wanting to buy a car. So Robert says to him, I know this guy that's selling the kind of car you want or whatever. Like, after work, follow me to the guy's house and we'll check it out. So they do that. Now, the two guys were seen on surveillance footage at a convenience store. They were buying Cokes or whatever. Now, later on, Zebb got a page, because this was 2000, and I guess people still have those. And all he said to Robert, he flashed his headlights at Robert and got him to pull over. And then he said, I have to take this call. So we went into a payphone, he made the phone call, and then he came back and he was all freaking out and flustered. He's like, I gotta go. Now, as he pulled out, evidently he hit Robert's truck, like while he was in his rush to get out. After that, Zebb disappeared. Now, this is where the weirdness starts. Later on that night, Robert Owens was in a hospital with a head injury and fractured ribs. He said that it was from another accident, not the one where Zebb had hit his truck. But there was no car accident report filed with police. Okay, so Zebb is missing. His mom reports him missing the next day. Now, 2 days after he disappeared, someone saying that they were Zebb called the Walmart and said, I'm sick, I can't come in. Now, the person who took the phone call was like, that does not sound like Zebb's voice. So he was suspicious, so he reported it. Now, it turned out that the phone call was traced to a factory where Robert Owens worked. Now, Robert Owens said, Zebb asked me to call in sick for him.
Right.
So I did, because he's my buddy or whatever. There was also this woman that Zebb knew named Misty Taylor. And apparently he had kind of a thing for her, but she already had a boyfriend. Now, this boyfriend was allegedly abusive. So some people have speculated that maybe the abusive boyfriend killed Zebb. I don't know. I don't think that's what happened. The boyfriend's name was Wesley Smith. Now, another weird thing, too, is that the page that Zebb got that night that he disappeared, they traced that page to the home of Zebb's aunt, whose name was Ina Ustic, I think I'm pronouncing, or Ustish, I think I'm pronouncing that. The weird thing was that she said she didn't call him, and that she wasn't even home that night. She said, I was at a friend's house eating dinner. Now, the friend's house that she was at, the friend was the mother of Misty Taylor, the girl that Zebb was into and was allegedly trying to get away from her abusive boyfriend.
Okay.
But so the aunt says she didn't make this phone call. Now, she said that night that the page was sent, that someone had broken into her house but not stolen anything. They just moved things around. So, I don't know. A couple days after the disappearance, somebody left Zebb's car, which was a Mazda Protege, in the parking lot of the Little Pigs barbecue that was next to the hospital where Zebb's mom worked. The car's headlights were on. Someone had drawn a pair of lips and 2 exclamation points on the back window with lipstick. And inside the car was a live Labrador puppy. There were also a bunch of drink bottles. There was a jacket in there that did not belong to Zebb. There was a hotel key card that could not be traced. And various other things. Now, the car was, they tried to get forensic evidence from it, but nothing really came of it. Now, somebody said that they had seen a girl driving that Mazda Protege and that it looked like Misty Taylor. So, who fucking knows what's going on there? Huh. Now, the mom is pretty sure that Zebb is dead, that somebody killed him. She's like, because he didn't have any money, he didn't have his contact lens solution, he didn't have any of his stuff, so it's not like he just took off or anything like that. Now, the weird thing about this is that 15 years after Zebb disappeared, Robert Owens, the friend at the Walmart, he was arrested for murdering Christy Shen, which I think her name is. She was on the Food Network Star, like season 8 or something like that. She was one of the contestants. Okay. He killed her. She was pregnant at the time. Her and her husband. Wow. Like, they arrested him for that. He was a contractor, I guess. There was, like, no motive, so I don't know if he was, like, a serial killer. Apparently, he said that he ran over the husband, but he wouldn't say how he killed the woman. They found the remains of her and her husband in his stove. Huh. He was eating them? I don't know. Weird. I don't know. That's all it says. Like I said, they give you these details that but I'm they like, don't tell what? What do you... Elaborate. I need that unpacked, please. But yeah, so... Evidently, he killed them on March 12th.
Well, you know what? Then that would probably explain some of the weird things about the disappearance of his friends.
That's what I mean.
Because there's no motive or anything. Well, maybe the motive was just to eat the guy.
Maybe he was a cannibal.
Yeah, he just says, that guy,
he
I bet you delicious. He tastes good. Yeah. I'm going to try that out. Let's eat this guy. And maybe he ate him over a period of a few days and there's just nothing left.
It could be. Because they never did find him. Now
he ate him with a nice Chianti. And some fava beans.
So Owens, he actually did get convicted for the murder of the Food Network lady and her husband. Now, because of this crime being unearthed, they kind of went back and reinvestigated, like, the disappearance of Zebb Quinn. Now, I think he has been indicted. I don't know if he's been arrested yet, but he has been indicted for the disappearance of Zebb Quinn, and that he possibly killed him. They never found a body. Now they dug through all of the site and everything like that, and they found a bunch of weird shit. Like, all they'll say is they found fabric, leather fragments, which I guess maybe is belts or something like that, and then they found an unknown white powder substance.
I think
numerous plastic bags containing possibly pulverized lime or powdered mortar mix. Yeah. So they don't know if they're bones, if he just like ate him and crushed him up and buried him under concrete or something like that. Right. Yeah, they've had an indictment returned, and that was recently. That was just in July of 2017.
I think he's a cannibal.
So he might be. Yeah. So that whole thing, although I'm still weirded out by like some of the details, like what's the deal with the car with the puppy and everything. And by the way, the puppy's fine. An investigator adopted the puppy, so it's okay. Because I know people worry about that kind of shit.
He wanted to give the car back because it was evidence that could be used against him, and
possibly
maybe the dog was with him. Maybe his buddy picked that dog up. I don't know.
How weird that he left it like across from where the mom worked, and that somebody had seen a girl driving that car. I don't know. It's just there's so much shit.
Maybe he has a female accomplice.
Maybe he did.
Yeah. Maybe they were those Vors.
Yeah. Ew, yeah. unwilling bores.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, that's a super weird case. But
I'm just gonna let it rest, Jenny. I don't have any ideas on it.
I kind of do feel like he probably killed that guy, but there's there's still a lot of shit that doesn't add up about it too.
Right.
But you know.
And another thing is, I have to assume that they know a lot more than what they're telling us.
Well, yeah,
that there's a bunch of evidence that they're holding
because,
back
like
from the
I said,
public.
they always give you these tantalizing details.
Yeah, but they don't tell you everything.
Oh, they found the body in the stove. I'm like, what?
There's an ongoing.
What does that mean?
There's an ongoing trial and litigation.
Yeah, so they can't.
And investigations,
they can't,
and so they can't tell you
put
everything
out
that they
too
know.
much. Right.
It may end up being, once you have all the data, all the information, it may end up being a very mundane sounding situation.
Well, it usually is. It's only just the mystery that kind of makes it seem.
Because there's missing parts of the story.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed this look into several creepy disappearances. I'm actually glad that we had time to get to all of them because I was kind of excited about all of them.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
And I thought there were too many that I wouldn't
cool.
be able to get to.
Next time we got to do another haunting episode.
Yeah, we got it. Well, I wanted to do
I got to get that last season. What is it? Season 7?
Yeah, I wanted to do Haunted Victorian and maybe Sally's House.
Okay.
I don't know. I have a couple episodes.
I want to buy the season 7 DVD.
Well, get on that.
And they're on season 9. That they're not. I think they're doing season 9 or 10 right now. They don't have them for sale.
It takes a while for them to come up for sale. I think.
Yeah. I gotta get
as far as I
get
remember.
my collection complete.
Get your collection complete.
Yeah.
We've only seen like the season 8 and 9 ones like once probably.
Yeah, maybe we should go back and look at them
and maybe
again.
some of them we might have missed.
Yeah, because I remember a few of the new ones being kind of compelling.
Yeah.
Most of them not though.
I remember a couple of them being good, even though some of them were kind of stupid. But whatever. Yeah. We'll get them.
Hey, even doing a stupid one might be fun.
Yeah. Well, the stupid ones are really fun to do, especially if they're like ludicrously stupid.
Yeah, like Day Trippers. I think Day Trippers was the one where
the kids in the cemetery.
The kids in the cemetery.
Oh yeah.
And their mom was a witch.
That's right. I remember that one.
Yeah.
That was. I was thinking about the one with the house full of witches, but that was Paranormal Witness, wasn't it? That one was very silly.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting to the end of the show.
I'm gonna let it ride.
Well, that's how you do. That's how Tom rolls.
Yeah.
He lets things ride.
I just let it ride.
So if you like the show, remember to like, share, and subscribe and all of that stuff. Also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/13o'clock podcast and give us a small monthly donation. You'll get a lot of neat stuff. And
we came up with this idea that maybe people that were patrons that were paying more than $10 a month, that we could run a commercial of their choice.
Yeah, actually, we just, he said he thought of it yesterday, but he just told it to me, like, during the commercial break on this show, and I was like, wow, that's a really good idea. So, we actually might start offering that as a perk on Patreon.
Jenny can actually make a commercial and anything. She can make a commercial and everything. We can do voiceovers, do good little graphics or whatever, and we'll actually give you a commercial spot right there in our commercials.
Yeah.
And so if you have your own business you want to promote or your own site, we'll do it that way.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I think
and we already have some people that are paying more than $10 a month. So if you're paying more than $10 a month and you want a commercial, contact us. We'll put you in.
So I'll update the Patreon page to reflect that new perk.
And that's added incentive.
Yeah.
To become a patron.
See?
Yeah, and that's up.
Everybody should.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't want to give a monthly donation, or if you don't like Patreon for some reason, because I know some people don't, then go to our blog at 13o'clockpodcast.wordpress.com, and there's a little PayPal donation link over there in the sidebar. So you could just give a one-time donation if you want to do that. That would be really nice. And also, what else? Don't forget, this weekend, Spooky Empire, come down and see us if you're in the Orlando area, and say hi to us and buy a book and get your picture taken and get an autograph and all of that. And also, this is kind of your last chance to send in any Halloween stories that you have for our Halloween episode. And also, don't forget to check out my book, The Faceless Villain, which is out in print and ebook and will be out in audiobook in probably about 2 weeks, maybe. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that at the very outside. And that'll do it for episode 62. See you guys next Tuesday.
So long.
And as I wandered down to where you the blood rushed up to me.